Hello there, lovely listener, and welcome to Just Between Us, the sex and relationship podcast from the Irish Independent. Now, in Ireland, we're great at slagging and deflecting and downplaying ourselves. But when it comes to feeling good in our own skin, that's a really different story. Because feeling sexy is something we kind of joke about, we avoid, or tend to believe it belongs to someone else. But what if it has very little to do with how you look? What if it actually is all about how you feel in your own body, and what if it's something you can learn like any other skill? Well, today I'm joined by Bonnie Boux. She's a Waterford-born, very proud Waterford-born burlesque performer and Miss Burlesque Ireland 2022. She's also a wellness mentor, breathwork instructor and wedding celebrant, which she's become quite recently because she wasn't a celebrant when I met her years ago, working with people to reconnect with their bodies and build confidence through movement. Her mantra is very simple. It's dance yourself free. Bonnie, let's clear things up.
Jen?
Bonnie Boux, not Bonnie Blue.
That's a very valid question.
Can I confirm you've been around longer than Bonnie Blue?
I think I can confirm.
Well, she's only come to the forefront in recent, time, in the last year or two.
I suppose commercially, but has she been around as Bonnie Blue before that? We don't know. Into that. We must look.
We don't know.
We must look in.
We met years ago. You've been doing burlesque for a very, very long time. Yes. Tell people how it all started for you.
How did it all start? It was one of those things that just happened organically, Jen, when it comes to burlesque, because I've always been a natural sensual mover, I suppose is the best word to describe it. And in my more adult years, I was just realising I wasn't dancing as much as I used to. I used to be in a hip hop crew, and I was always the one that trying to shake my arse, even though it was hip hop, There's definitely room for that as well,
Uh-huh.
And then, I just needed to have a space to express myself, my creativity. And I kind of started with the heels, going into more of the kind of showgirl heel style. And I thought, and then naturally burlesque just came in for me, and it just went off. It kicked off.
It kicked off. It certainly did. Was your mum fully on board in the beginning? Because I know she helps make your lovely costumes.
Yeah. Oh, fully on board. I mean, she's one of the main reasons that I would say progressed and got into it fully. My mum. Shout out to Mama Boux. It was actually Miss Burlesque Ireland that kind of started my burlesque career, I suppose. And it was my mum that came across it on Facebook. Back in 2015 when they put it out, and this competition was 2016, and she was like, you should enter this, and
I'll make the nipple tassels.
She does. She makes my nipple tassels.
Can I just...
Yeah.
I'm just going to show the camera. I know this is a podcast, but if you're watching, look, these are...
She makes the tassels.
Gorgeous.
Now, those bottom tassels are from, I can't remember her name. My mum made the pasty part, which is the nipple part.
This nipple part with and she puts all the sequins on it.
Yes, and that's my areola size, because everyone has different size areolas. So, not everyone wants to cover the whole areola.
Yeah.
But they cover the whole everyone
thing.
Has different size ones depending on your titty circumference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when it all started. Let's talk about feeling sexy, because to be a burlesque performer, you have to exude that, feeling sexy and looking sexy. Why do Irish people struggle with feeling sexy?
So, I always say sexy is an energy.
Okay.
And I think it can be a learned skill.
Do you?
I do. I really do.
Well, that's good to know.
It's good. There's hope yet.
Yeah.
There's hope yet for you all. There's the obvious thing that is still very heavy in Ireland, is particularly with women, with oppression on their bodies and not being able to express themselves a certain way. There's a lot of Catholic guilt that still exists for sure. So there's definitely a layer of that. I think as a culture, we have so much crack, and I think, that whole notions, and we're very grounded and down to earth. So I think we probably lean more into that groundedness in our society rather than the sexiness. So I think there's a level of that, but it does mean we have the crack. And that's why we have the crack, And that's
important, because
it's really important.
We can't be taking this stuff too seriously, right?
Definitely. So I think, what it is I think people have maybe a one lane thinking of what sexy is. And there's a lot of people that are sexy and might not even know it yet. They just haven't found their sexy, And the reason why I think sexy is an energy, and I think it's actually like a symptom of confidence.
Yeah.
I feel, and to be confident, you got to be comfortable. If you're comfortable, you're going to feel more sexier. If you're living an authentic life, if you're truly expressing yourself in an authentic way, those things are going to come in, you know? So I think it's achievable for people but maybe it's not even in the future. Maybe some people don't even think about wanting to be sexy, you know, but if for anyone that thinks, oh, I would like to be more sexy, I think there is ways for everyone.
Maybe start with feeling comfortable and
You know?
confident, and then it'll come after that. Let's talk about the burlesque performer. For anybody who's never seen a burlesque show, what's involved, what should people expect, and how does it feel to step out on that stage?
So I think we have maybe the one element of burlesque is mainly known, which is like the classic style, which is like these feathers here and the corsets, you know.
Like a showgirl.
Like a showgirl style.
Headpieces.
Yeah, which is a huge part, and I love that. But at the core of burlesque, it's storytelling. You know, it's storytelling. It's expressing yourself. It's you kind of bring in your own little mini show and narrative to the stage, and you're getting to really like show who you are or what part of who you are that you want to express, you know. But what I love about it is it's about comedy. It could be dark, it can be emotive, it could be crazy, it could be wild. There's so many ways to do burlesque, and so it's an inclusive way of expressing yourself, I would say, through storytelling, dance, costumes, comedy, the list goes on.
Yeah,
you know,
and there's it gets down to where wear very little costumes.
Yeah, most
it does, because I have a vision of you dressed as a granny.
You do.
Why do I have that vision of you dressed as a granny?
I'm the stripper gran. Jen.
You're the stripper gran.
I'm the stripper gran. That's
right.
Only
But that's where the comedy comes in.
Is
You're so good. So you dress fully as a granny.
Yeah.
Just explain that part of the show with the wig and the.
Yeah, a full on granny, and I suppose the narrative with that though is that I'm not being like. It's like I'm a strong, powerful granny, and it's to kind of show that no matter what your age is, that you can bust a groove, you know.
You can slut drop.
You can slut drop until you're 70, 80. You can slut drop in the grave to the grave. And so with the granny, I'm coming out dressed as your typical, well, not your typical granny, whatever. It's lots of grannies.
Yeah.
But I just strip down, but I do assels for that one, which I love. So tassels on the arse cheeks, good old assel swing, tea bags on the bum for finale, just as you do.
That is so scary. And did you have to go to a school, or how did you learn all this? Did you learn online? I know you were a dancer before, but these are certain techniques, like getting those nipple tassels to go in a full circle is a skill. I've seen the tassels on your arse. That is a skill. How did you learn this?
I just did it. I'm just so talented. I don't know what to say.
Practice. A lot of time on your hands in Waterford.
Like, the thing is, this is why it felt so organic for me. I felt I've trained my whole life for this, you know. But because I've got the dancer in me, I have that isolation, because this is like a huge isolation thing, you know. So the minute I put tassels on, they were swinging. Swinging tits, 360. Yeah, love it.
A lot of people come to you and you do these workshops and these classes, right? And what kind of people come to you?
So I don't know if I could pinpoint it, but I suppose it's always people that are...
Women, predominantly.
Predominantly women, but my classes are open for everyone. So predominantly women, a lot of people just looking for a space to feel accepted, I feel. A lot of the time it could be people that are coming solo. They might, you know, when you get to that age where your friends start having different interests and hobbies and you're looking for a space to kind of try out that thing, you know. But I've had like mothers and daughters come to my workshops together. You know, I teach the active retirement group. I've had women in their 70s do burlesque with me. So like there is
What do you teach them? Like, what's the spectrum? I doubt a lot of them would get to ass tassels, you know, in an hour session, but who knows?
Who knows?
You're that good of a teacher. Yeah. Where do you start with them? Because I would imagine when they first go into one of your classes or workshops that they are quite reserved in a way, but then by the end of it, they're completely transformed, or they've loosened up a lot.
Or they're running a mile.
You might get one doing that. Do you have to start off slow with these people?
So there's so many different workshops and stuff that I do. If someone comes to me for a one-on-one, I will have a good conversation with them as to what they want from that session. So that's very specific. When people are booking into a workshop, sometimes it could be just sexy floor work. So it's not particularly burlesque, but you would use that sexy floor work if you wanted as a burlesque performer. You know, it all starts to kind of layer in.
So what you mean sexy floor work? Like gyrating on the floor, like a Magic Mike type thing going on the floor? Great.
Like floor work and twerk is what I call it, you know, just like, yeah, doing all, I forget, I'm like floor work dancing. Yeah, exactly. Okay. You know, but so, like, as for example, there's people that come into my class, say, and I'll always say to them, you wear what you want. Like we said, sexy is an energy. I feel sexy right now in these jeans. Do you feel sexy, Jen?
Not at the moment, but I made a mistake with my trousers. Okay, but we'll talk about that another time.
Okay, well, your trousers.
I feel good. I feel comfortable. I feel confident. I have felt sexier in other outfits. Let's just say.
There you go.
But no,
putting you on the spot though.
No, but that's good to put me on the spot. I like that. And to be honest with you, when you wake up, do you specifically put on clothes that make you feel sexy?
No. I don't think that much about it. They're like, I'm just sexy all the time.
Yeah, it just comes to you. No, but yeah.
It's not an active decision. Like, I've never made an active decision to be like, I want to be sexy. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just part of me. I just feel like I'm just genuinely living intuitively and authentic. And this is just what's happened.
Okay.
You know? And then, you know, and like I said, sexiness in different forms, you know? And so, when it comes to, and a lot of time I would bring sexiness into creativity and movement at being a dance teacher and a performer. So if we're to talk about it in that way, like there's people that come to class in their leggings and their t-shirts, because I'm always like, let people get comfortable, because that's important. Comfort is key. And then they can make a decision as to what sexy is for them. So a lot of time people come in and say, oh, I couldn't wear that. I don't feel my body, etc. for that sort of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you do you. They'll come in, leggings, etc. 2 months later, they're in a thong and nothing's changed physically. Yeah. Nothing, you know, but internally something has shifted, you know, and they feel comfortable to express that part of themselves in a safe space.
I do think it's a huge part of it, because I noticed that with Dancing with the Stars, that which you need to be on. You'd be so good.
I'd love that. Thanks
Imagine
very
her
much.
twerking with tassels on
I'd
her
love
arse
that.
on a
Please.
RTE show at 6:30 on a Sunday evening.
Is this a pitch? What camera do I look at?
Do it.
BonnieBoux@gmail.com. Thanks.
But I do notice if I was ever asked to dance on the show, whatever, the outfit plays a big part.
Hugely, yes.
Huge part in it. You know, there's a very different feel to when I'm dancing on the floor in my tracksuit to when I have the sexy dress on and dancing. That's a different thing. So there must be an importance on that to somewhat.
There is, right? So this is the thing. I feel like it's amazing to get to a point where you feel sexy at your core, where nothing is going to take away how you feel about yourself and the self-love you have for yourself, right? But then, like, we all put masks on in a positive way, and it makes us express ourselves in different parts of ourselves. So like if I'm doing like more hip-hop or twerk, and I want to wear the baggy clothes, you know, but if I'm doing the burlesque, when I put on the more classic vibe clothes, like
feathers,
the gowns, it makes me move differently. So I'm expressing my sexy energy in a different way.
Yes.
Sexy Ella.
Sexy energy. I like that.
You know?
I like that a lot. So when you go to a retirement group, do you feel the sexy energy in there? Or no?
Up the grannies.
I heard they're all at it in those retirement places. They have
rabbits.
nothing else to be doing. They play bingo. And then you come in, you get them all horny and they're gone.
Yeah.
What is the vibe like in one of those sessions?
So here's the thing. When I got booked to do, say, the active retirement group, when I started with them a few years ago, I didn't get booked to do burlesque. So I am very sneaky. I will read the room, read the people, and slowly infiltrate
the sexiness.
The slutty sexiness. Yes. So I got booked to do dancing, and this is the thing. It's about making people feel comfortable and then giving them options and letting them lead. And it just so happened that we were doing more fun disco dancing, we're having the crack, and then I was like bringing some chairs, then I brought in some props, and all of a sudden we're there at bows around our necks, one leg is up on the chair, we're having a good time, we're shaking our arses. But that all happened organically because we work together as a team for people to feel comfortable.
Can you teach anybody to dance?
Absolutely. Are you asking, Jen? Or is that Dancing with the
I
Stars?
can't dance. I can't dance. No. So let's make things practical for someone listening at home who might be busy and tired and maybe not feeling great in themselves. Where could they start? I know it comes organically to you, but for somebody who it absolutely doesn't, because I've heard there's a huge proportion of people out there who don't like looking at themselves, who not feeling comfortable. Maybe they've had a baby, they put on weight that they didn't want or whatever. Where do they start?
It's a really good question. And where do they start? We were talking about even clothes, and clothes is a great way to express yourself. But coming back to the dancing, I think this is like one of my main tools in terms of expression, because it's so healing. There's science behind it, when you move your body without even the intention of being sexy, I think a great little kind of activity you could do is put on a song that makes you feel good. If you want to put on a song at home, and you could be in your PJs and just get moving, because you're going to shift energy as well. You're going to harness energy when you're moving, and maybe that's going to put a little zing in your body, So I think maybe trying some movement alone, Some people are terrified of the mirror. Some people love the mirror. I love the mirror in terms of being able to see how I'm looking, but I completely understand how that can be scary for some people. But it could be a good tool for others, that they could use a mirror at home to be like, actually, to give themselves some feedback. Actually, I'm a great mover. I didn't realize I could move like this, because they're on their own doing it. Clothes do help. It depends on why you want to feel sexy and where. If it's just for yourself, you have to ask yourself, stripping away society's idea of what sexy clothes are, what makes you feel good? Is it something tight? Is it something loose? Is it revealing? Is it covering up? I think it's about having honest conversations with yourself, being kind, and just gifting yourself whatever makes you feel good on that journey, to know that I might not feel at my best now, but I can get to my best.
That's a very good point. And you touched on something there which I thought was really interesting, and it made so much sense when you said it, and that is the importance of music and shifting energy. I mean, I can do it with my kids in a car if they're like killing each other or whatever. It is about, because a lot of people forget that part of them, or when we're young and have less responsibilities, I do find we tend to more be into our music, so to speak, and going to gigs and listen to different things. But as we get older, I suppose less time. So how important is music, and to help you feel sexy? Like, so what kind of songs are you throwing on?
What am I?
To get people to slut drop.
Oh, do you know what? I feel like I need to make a playlist and share it with you, and maybe you could share this on your Insta for people. Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Because again, and say going back to burlesque as an example, there's people that will do gorelesque, right?
What's that?
Gorelesque would be, it'll be more of the darker themed. It could be vampire kind of themed, gory. There could be blood involved. It could be and it could be like rock, heavy metal music, because that's what that suits them. So I think, because like hip hop is sexy, R&B is sexy, jazz is sexy, techno is sexy. So find the genre that actually speaks to you. I think
shifts your energy
and gets you up and moving without you being too aware of yourself. And then if you're lucky enough to have a bunch of friends or just one friend, I think that's the key. Sisterhood, and obviously, or whatever gender you are, but I'm just talking about the sisterhood. Having someone who gasses you up. That's really helpful.
What do you mean gasses you up?
Tells you you're deadly on your night out. And your friend is like, you look unreal. You're beautiful. You're deadly. Having the right people around you and giving that love back, you're gonna grow. Your energy's gonna heighten together.
And then we're all feeling sexy.
And then we're all stripping, we're all slut dropping.
We're having a great time. Are there workshops people can go to in Ireland at the moment happening for you? Like, can people get in touch if they want to try and unleash that in themselves? Where are they?
Absolutely. So I have a link tree on my Instagram that you can go on to. I have a workshop next week in Dublin, actually. 3 spaces left, and that's a collaboration with Bare Boas. So they make, this is Bare Boas.
This lovely boa.
So they make these, are from Belfast, and your workshop gets you the boa and myself. But I also have an online course called Body Magic.
What's that?
So Body Magic is a course I designed that you can do solo or with your person or your friend, and it mixes the the kind of outcome to be able to do a sensual chair dance
Okay.
on the chair empty for yourself or for your person. But the journey to get there, we use techniques of journaling, some breath work together, different techniques and movements, and practicing certain grooves to get really comfortable in your body so you can perform that dance or feel that dance, because it might not be a performance, in your own way. And there's a choreography at the end of it. It's called body magic.
Okay. You're big into energy and connection, aren't you? Is that why you became a celebrant?
Possibly so, Jen.
How long have you? How did
How did
when
that start?
When did that happen?
I'm always, it's not that I'm not happy where I am, but I'll always be on the lookout for any signs of other kind of work that will suit me.
Yeah.
I think that's just being self-employed. It's the entrepreneur in us, isn't
Yeah.
it? So I'm always thinking, what's out there specifically that I can be time rich? I want to be rich with time to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And so, and what slots into my lifestyle already? What transferable skills do I have? Celebrant. It's storytelling, it's speaking in front of a group of people,
Easy.
it's working with people, it's gathering, it's making people feel comfortable, it's showing up for them. It's stuff that you'd be an amazing celebrant.
Did you? I mean, did
No.
you? When you started, did you
Yeah.
start doing your friends and then kind of
No, I went straight in.
straight into? Okay.
I went straight in. So I went, it was during COVID, that's what pushed me,
Yeah.
because everything that I was doing wasn't really happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, and slowing down gave me that opportunity to be like, right, I actually do have this time free now to do this, to do the training. And but I just did like an online course, and I wasn't like a legal solomonizer at that stage. I just got my first booking in Cork with a lovely couple, and it's just like, I would say fake it till you make it, but I don't know if that's the right one. I'm just like, just trust in yourself.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Like, learn on the job, but I know it'd be good enough to do the job, but learn to be better while on it, because when are you ready, And so I did that, and then I joined NTOS in 2022, NTOS Ireland. They're a Dublin-based, not-for-profit, amazing organisation that allow for inclusive ceremonies, including vow renewals and funerals, which I'm actually a funeral celebrant as well, but that's a whole other story. That happened by accident.
Oh no.
Yeah, a good accident.
Not in the active retirement group.
That's why I'm doing that.
Okay.
Giving out my cards.
Yeah, here you go. So,
Yeah.
what's the difference? Like a funeral celebrant, that's just being the main speaker and
Instead of the priest, I suppose.
yeah, instead of the priest, of course.
You know,
Instead of the priest,
for
yeah.
people that aren't having it in churches. So like crematoriums
Yes.
or funeral
Yes.
homes next to non-denominational or,
Do you get unusual requests doing work like that?
No, because this is something that I feel like is like a service job. I haven't put myself out there in terms of like my business with the funeral work. I'm just allowing that to kind of happen, like,
Organically.
for people that need it. Because I've done I did my dog's burial, so I'm getting into pet funerals, pet services with a pet crematorium actually in Waterford. So
I'd say that is huge because
people need it.
if anything happened to Snoop Dogg, my terrier, I'll be on.
It's like Snoop Dogg's a nice life, no? Yeah, but Snoop Dogg, I got you. I got you.
That's my dog. I'd say that's and people need somewhere to celebrate that.
You
celebrate
do.
their life.
You need closure. You need support.
Yes.
Pets have become family, and it's really important that you have those last moments as a positive memory with them, and not the traumatic one that a lot of people have.
So you're flat out.
Flat out.
You are flat out.
Yeah.
How long will you continue? Is this a forever job? The burlesque. Are you going to keep twerking until you
twerking,
fall
yes.
down?
Definitely going to keep twerking. I'll never stop moving. And that's where I came up with Dance Yourself Free, because it's like dance yourself free from an overworked mind, from stress, anxiety. Like, that's a promise I made to myself, is that I'll always be a creative mover. That's just my medicine. Whether it's earning me money or not, it doesn't matter. It's a lifestyle,
Tell me about the burlesque community as a whole. Is it quite inclusive? Is it friendly?
Yes.
What's the oldest person, the youngest person? How do people get into it?
Yeah, like crazily inclusive. That's kind of the ethos, I think, behind it, Anyone can do burlesque. Well, I suppose maybe over the age of 18. But I actually don't know age-wise what's the oldest burlesque performer at the moment. But like, I remember seeing a lady, I can't remember her name, in Brighton years ago. And I think she was like in her 80s.
Wow.
And she was still going for it. And she was incredible, So it's really inclusive, regardless of your beliefs, your gender, your age, your body. Like, it's just about living life.
Is there male? I always associate it with women. Is there male burlesque?
Oh, there's everyone. Absolutely everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All kinds, all
There's
different
actually
genders. Okay.
and there's actually a show called actually there was Mr. Burlesque Ireland. It hasn't happened in a few years, but that was a competition as well. But then they amalgamated the two to mix burlesque, so it was just everyone.
Okay.
But that's the one I won. That was the last one in 2022. But there's a show even called Briefs. I remember seeing them years ago in Brighton, and they're a male burlesque troupe. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Go and see these shows, lads.
Oh, unreal.
Go and see them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today and bringing
thanks, Jen.
all your lovely costumes that we can feast our eyes on. If you're watching online, make sure you check it out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen.